The death of Queen Alexandra. The final rites for Queen Alexandra, previously known as Princess Alexandra of Denmark, took place on Friday, the 27th of November in 1925 at Westminster Abbey after her passing on the 20th of November that year. She was the widow of King Edward VII and the mother of King George V. Queen Alexandra retained a youthful appearance even in her later years, but the toll of age became evident during the First World War. Her international travels ceased and her health began a gradual decline. In 1920, she suffered from a burst blood vessel in her eye, resulting in temporary partial blindness. Towards the latter part of her life, her memory and ability to communicate became increasingly affected. On the day prior to her demise, reports emerged that Alexandra experienced a seizure around 11 a.m. As the day progressed on the 20th of November, a gathering of her closest family members, including her three daughters, the Queen of Norway, the Princess Royal, and Princess Victoria, along with her grandson Prince Henry, had assembled by 1 p.m., coinciding with her descent into unconsciousness. Observing her deteriorating condition, medical aid was administered in the form of oxygen by 4:15 p.m., although her strength continued to wane. At 5:25 p.m. that very day, at Sandringham House, she passed away from a heart attack, a mere 11 days prior to reaching her 81st birthday. Her son, King George V, her daughter-in-law, Queen Mary, and several other members of the royal family were present during her final moments. Subsequently, her two eldest grandsons, the Prince of Wales and the Duke of York, who were en route via train, arrived at 6:45 p.m. Following the announcement of her death, flags across the nation were lowered to half-mast as a sign of respect, except at Windsor Castle, where the Union Jack remained raised, adhering to the royal protocol, which stipulates its descent upon the passing of a reigning sovereign. In a mark of mourning, various entertainment events, including those involving music and dance, were cancelled by numerous West End hotels in London, while the BBC interrupted its usual programming to pay homage to the departed Queen. In a poignant display of national recognition, Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin promptly presented a motion of condolence in the House of Commons, a gesture that received heartfelt agreement from the Leader of the Opposition, Ramsay MacDonald. Additionally, the Grenadier Guards marched in the Horse Guards Parade, their colours draped in sombre mourning, symbolising the nation's collective grief and respect for the late Queen Alexandra of Denmark. Following Alexandra's passing, a series of poignant ceremonies unfolded, commencing with her remains being initially placed at St Mary Magdalene Church in Sandringham, before being relocated to the Chapel Royal at St James's Palace. A modest yet heartfelt service was conducted at the church in Sandringham, attended by both the royal family and local villagers. Mourners respectfully paid their final respects by filing past the adorned coffin, veiled in her personal banner at arms. The solemn procession commenced in Sandringham, where her coffin, draped in regal emblems, was conveyed to Wolverton Railway Station. In a sombre yet reverential display, the King, the Queen, the Prince of Wales, the Duke of York, and a host of mourners solemnly followed the cortege, with estate workers and villagers eventually joining this sad march. In London, a grand procession was orchestrated from St James's Palace to Westminster Abbey. The entire route was adorned with military personnel paying their respects, as the gun carriage carrying the coffin traversed key areas like the Mall, Horse Guards Parade, and Whitehall. Detachments from various regiments participated, accompanied by poignant gun salutes. The poignant sight of royalty walking and mourning behind the coffin included the King in a Field Marshal's uniform, along with the Kings of Belgium, Denmark and Norway, the Prince of Wales, the Crown Prince of Norway, and other royal princes. The Queen of Norway, the Queen of Spain, and the royal princesses made their way directly to the abbey. Pallbearers were chosen from the King's Company of Grenadiers. The highly ceremonial funeral took place at the Abbey on the 27th of November 1925 at 11:30 a.m., conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The congregation included cabinet members, diplomats and high commissioners. The order of service comprised poignant selections of hymns such as Now the Labourer's Task is Over and On the Resurrection Morning, and the moving anthem, Give Rest, O Christ. Following the formal funeral service, Alexandra lay in state at the Abbey, permitting the public to pay their respects on the 27th of November. Throughout the nation, additional memorial services were conducted in churches, coinciding with the closure of theatres and dance halls in a show of respect. Beyond the shores, memorial services in Alexandra's honour were also held in Australia at notable cathedrals. Her coffin was later moved to Windsor for a private evening service, joining her late husband's coffin in the Albert Memorial Chapel, where floral tributes were placed for public viewing. As per Alexandra's directives, dating back to 1919, a monument designed by Bertram McKinnell was erected in the South Aisle, featuring two effigies of both Alexandra and Edward in white marble atop a black and green marble sarcophagus. The bodies of the royal couple were finally interred 2 years after Alexandra's demise on the 22nd of April 1927, fulfilling her long-standing wishes. Remarkably, Alexandra's legacy persisted through her great-granddaughter, Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary of York, who was christened in homage to the late Queen, becoming Queen Elizabeth II, born just 5 months after Alexandra's passing.